I was born in Lake City, Iowa, grew up on a farm there, and my whole family farms in Calhoun County and Carroll County, Iowa. We'd have to pump water from a well, and so and we had outhouses. I mean, there's no running water, that kind of thing. I went to a one-room schoolhouse when I was growing up. I had 3 kids in my class. I was salutatorian, because it was kind of like a group of families got together and homeschooled, and we hired Margaret Ann and she'd drive by and pick us up. I mean, to grow up in an environment like that, and that's where your education came from, and sitting in a room with 12, 13, 14 kids, all different grades. You know, you didn't know what grade you were in. So it's just a fascinating experience, you know, and not having ever had an intention of going to college. When I got into high school, I started raising hogs, and so I honestly thought I was going to be a hog farmer. And the banker from Lake City, from the little town, came out looking for my father. He asked me if I was planning to go to college in the fall, and I said no. I had planned to farm, raise the hogs. And he said, well, you might want to think about going to college because you've got enough money in the bank from raising hogs to go to college. I was always spending a lot of time daydreaming about things. When you're on a 2-row B. John Deere tractor cultivating hundreds of acres of beans and corn, you got a lot of time to think and make up alternative lives for yourself. I drove up to the house and told my mother, because she asked me why I came up, obviously, and I said, well, I'm thinking about going to college. And so that evening we talked about it. My parents were pretty supportive of that and wanted to help, but we didn't know where to go to college because we had never thought about it. It had never crossed my mind, not one time. And so we went to the librarian at the local school, and we said, well, we want to go to college, but didn't know where to go to college, and we thought she could probably tell us or help us. And she said, well, you're a good Lutheran. You should go to Augustana College in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And we go, okay. So a couple days later, we get in the car and drive up to Sioux Falls, and we walked into the admissions office, and basically they asked what we wanted. I said, well, I'm here to go to college. And they said, well, have you applied, or do you have a file here? And we go, no, we're just here to go to college. And she asked me what it is that I wanted to major in, or what I wanted to be when I got out of college. And I said I wanted to be a hospital administrator. And no one had really asked me that question. But the reason that I had thought about that was I used to usher at a little Lutheran church in high school. And the hospital administrator in Lake City had this really nice looking wife. And I was kind of thinking, if I'm going to get a good looking wife, I need to be a hospital administrator. And he always dressed real nice, had a nice suit on. And I had met a fellow by the name of Lowell Schroeder, and so he encouraged me through my time in Sioux Falls to go to Augustana, or to go to, when I got done with Augustana, to go on to graduate school. And I was accepted, and so Les and I went to Minneapolis in the summer of 1965 when I started there that's a 2-year graduate program. So I spent 2 years at the University of Minnesota, got my master's degree in 1967, and then stayed on at the hospital where I did a residency, St. Barnabas Hospital, for about 10 years. I do remember my first day in Minneapolis when I'd finished my residency, I got my master's degree, and I started my job. And I was so anxious and so nervous about that I ended up in the emergency room with an asthma attack, and I had to have a shot of something to kind of cool me down, and so then I had to kind of get restarted again. Things got better from that point on, but I was a little anxious.